Hello, we're going to be looking now at problem number 3 found on page 618 of your Geometry Part 2 textbook. This is found in lesson 10.1, talking about areas of parallelograms and triangles. We're going to pick problem 3 because it is the area of a triangle, but with a little bit of a twist, so I thought this might be helpful to let you see. Remember that the area of a triangle is simply 1/2 the base times the height. And remember, height has to be measured straight up and down. So the base is what the triangle is setting on, and the height goes to the highest vertex from that base. So that would be your height there. Now, the difference, or what's different about problem number 3 here, we're simply going to find the area of a triangle, which is this formula. But if you'll notice here, it is in both feet and inches. So the base of this triangle right here is 13 feet 4 inches. And the height of this triangle, which is this right here, is given as 12 foot 2 inches. So the first thing we have to do in step 1 here is we've got to convert everything to inches. That seems to be easier. So remember that there are 12 inches in every foot. So if I've got 12 feet, I'm going to multiply 12 by 12 to convert that into inches. And then remember, I have 2 more inches, so I have to add this 2 inches here. And that's going to give me a total of 146 inches. Okay? The same thing goes for the base. It is 13 foot 4 inches. But the 13 feet, again, has to be multiplied by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. So 13 times 12, get that answer, and then add 4 more to it. And you should come up with 160 inches total. Okay? So now that we've got everything in terms of just inches, so that they can be alike and we can use it that way, then in step 2, we're simply just going to find the area of the triangle, which again is 1/2 the base times the height, which in this case is 1/2, 160, which we got right here from the base, times 146, which we got right here, which was the height. Now, when we multiply that together, that ends up being 11,680. And what are my dimensions? My dimensions are in inches. So that means that I'm talking about 11,680 square inches. But if I want to convert that back to feet, then I'm going to have to take this number, and remember, going from inches back to feet, you divide by 12 because there's 1 foot equals 12 inches. So you're going to divide by 12 to turn it back into feet. However, it's not just inches now. It is inches squared. So that means you're going to have to divide by 12 twice. 1 for the base and 1 for the height. So that's why you're dividing by 12 2 different times. So 11,680 divided by 12 divided by 12 is going to equal, and again, your calculator will give this to you. It probably will give you a decimal, and then if you hit the fraction button on your calculator, especially if you're using like a TI-84, then you're going to get 81 1/9 square feet. Okay, so that's how much material you're going to need to make that particular cell. Okay, now let's quickly look at the got it here. What is the area of this triangle? Now, if you'll notice, this is a right triangle, which means that the height, again, goes straight up and down, but it happens to also be the side of the triangle where it wasn't here in the first one. So right here is 5 inches is the height of my triangle, but the base of the triangle, which is the part it's sitting on, was given in feet. Well, that seems simple enough. All you're going to do is you're going to convert that feet. I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. Now they're both in terms of inches. So remember, it's 1/2 the base, which we now know is 12 inches, times the height, which we now know is up that left side of the triangle, which is 5 inches. That's 12 times 5 is a total of 60. 60 divided by 2, which is what 1/2 really means, ends up being 30 square inches. Okay? Now, 30 square inches, what would that be in square feet? Well, I can promise you it's not much, because remember, again, to convert from square inches back to feet, we're going to have to divide by 12, because 1 foot is 12 inches, Again, 1 foot is 12 inches, and you've got to divide it by 12 twice. So 30 divided by 12 divided by 12 is going to end up being a weird kind of a decimal. It ends up giving you like 2, 0, 8, and then the 3 repeats. Then if you, again, hit the math button and the fraction choice under the math button, it will turn it into a fraction for you, and that turns out to be 5 over 24. And remember, we hate fractions, but now we're in square feet instead of square inches. But fractions are much more exact than decimals are. Okay? Hope this was helpful.